You're live.
Oh, we are up and live. Sorry, guys, I'm not quite with it yet. I'm trying to find what I said I was going to look up last week, but I've been so busy this week. Everything's got away from me. I'm pretty sure I took a picture of it, and I cannot find it anywhere. Well, what a week it's been. How can so much happen in 1 week? Anyone else got rain? It's so muggy. I'm going redneck tonight. This is very muggy. Let's get myself sorted. Set up. Oh. I'm hoping the thunder's stopped. We had quite a bit of rumblings tonight. It sounds like the rain's easing up as well. It's still so muggy. I'm waiting for it to freshen the air up a bit. Right, when was that? That was last Friday, so it would have been before that. Oh, goodness. No, lost it. Lost it. In fact, it looks like a lot of stuff's been deleted off my phone for some reason.
Hello, everybody. Oh, look at that. 2 minutes to spare as well. That's a rarity, isn't it? So that should give me enough time to do the Facebook. Yeah.
Been watching much of the Olympics, Russ?
No. I must admit, I did watch the shooter this morning. Did you see that?
No.
Did you see the pictures of the Turkish bloke who won it?
No.
Brilliant. Absolute brilliant. It turns up, all the others turn up. Oh, you know, you've got obviously China and all that. They turn up with their special glasses, with their laser in their eye. They've just got this handgun. You know, they've got special arches on their shoulders to keep their arms straight and everything. Well, this bloke just turns up like he's just got out the crowd with a gun. He's got normal glasses on like me. He's got one hand in one pocket, pulls the gun out, shoots it, gets gold. Pure genius. Just
Brilliant.
Absolute genius. You know, so absolute genius. What's that saying? Right. Shall we go then? Shall we go? Are you ready?
Go for it.
I'll be shocked if we get through the night of that rain. If we get the thunder and lightning, it might take us off air.
Do you know what? I was worried about that because it was thundering quite heavy a minute ago.
We haven't got the thunder. We've got the light rain at the moment. Parts of your brain. Good evening, guys and girls of people of all ages. Welcome to Journey Through the Unexplained, live and exclusive on Pulse Talk Radio. And we are also dual screaming, whatever that means, dual streaming over on Facebook and on YouTube. Welcome to the show, one and all. It is the 1st of August, 2024. And in the UK, it's been quite a nice week weather-wise for the first time in a long time.
Yes, very much so. I said I've gone redneck tonight, mate, with my vest because it's just too muggy.
I've got air conditioning on, so not
Oh,
like
shut up.
you know, it's quite cool in here at the moment. Quite nice, a nice steady 18 degrees. So spluing around the room, all nice, all lovely. But how have you been, Paul? Okay, everything all right in your world?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Like you say, it's been quite hot this week. We've had non-stop. Do you know what? I haven't got 5 minutes to myself at the moment, and I don't know why. I'm looking forward to my holiday.
Well, I'm on countdown because I fly out on Monday, but I don't know if I've made the good thing or not because I'm flying out sort of like 42 degrees of heat currently at the moment in Morocco. So that's going to be warm, isn't it?
Yes.
That's going to be very, very warm. So, but hey ho, I've got an air conditioned room, so that would be where I have to stay for, because I could see me going very beetrootish otherwise.
You have to be a night owl for the week, wouldn't you, or 2 weeks?
Well, I say I've looked at the weather this week, and even in night time, it's only been dropping to around about 35, 34s.
Really?
Yeah, it hasn't got. So
Oh,
I can see a lot of time being spent in the sea and the swimming pool.
yeah.
But I did see a video the other week of people in Morocco putting ice into the pool to keep it cool. Oh, great.
That's not a good sign, is it? You
No.
can't even fall off in the pool.
Yeah. But hey ho, I'm looking forward to it. I just have to keep myself nice and cool on strawberry daiquiris all day long.
Yeah.
That's all I can do. But I think we should start off with the weather because I know you was doing a few pictures. We have got a little bit. I haven't said hello to all our. We got people watching. So guys, if you're in the chat, please share this live stream. Let's get it out there. If you're in the chat, let us know you're there. Give us a hoedown and a holler if you want to. But yeah, as the last couple of weeks have been really good with people interacting with our shows and everything, and it makes it a lot easier for us. Not easy, but it keeps the conversation going. So, if you are in the chat, please say hello and join us. But I'm going to start off with the weather because Paul's been doing a couple of photos this week. He's had a couple of TikTok videos about the weather as well, haven't you, with the so-called chemtrails. And I think it's actually sort of give us some abnormal results a little bit, hasn't it? Because I know that. Well, let's start off it because I think it was Tuesday. Wasn't it? Tuesday was one of the hottest days of the year so far. It got up to sort of like 32, 33.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but that day in itself didn't feel hot, as in the UK hot.
No.
It didn't feel muggy. It just felt like what I would call Spanish heat.
Yeah. I think today to me has felt like the hottest day of the year.
And
the hottest day of the week, definitely.
Concur. Today was awful.
Muggy. Very
today
muggy.
Was absolutely terrible today. I thought it was the worst day out of the lot of them. But I was very shocked, when you think, oh, here we go, we're going to get the 30 plus degrees of heat. We're in the UK. We're going to get this humidity with it. But on Tuesday, I found it quite all right. I didn't find it,
nice breeze as well.
Yeah. But there has been quite a nice evening breeze all the way through, hasn't there? It's been all week. There's been quite a nice. You can sort of definitely cool down in the evening if you left 2 windows open, let it sort of pass through quite nicely. So that did get me thinking about sort of the pictures that you were sort of putting on your tick, because one picture that you sent in one morning, it was just absolute crazy, wasn't it? Of what chemtrails would absolute look like.
I haven't seen it look as bad as that for a long, long time.
Yeah, I don't know if I can actually show our viewers and see if I can get the screenshot up. I don't know if I can or not. You sent it to me, didn't you?
I did.
You sent it to me. So I don't know if I can.
I believe it was
Can I
the two of
forward
them, wasn't
that?
it? An hour apart.
Let's see if I can forward that to there, and let's see if that then I can go into here, and I reckon I can add that into there, drop that into there. That is just uploading, and I reckon we'll be able to see this actually on our main screen if I do that. Remove us. We're just going to be removed for a couple of seconds, guys. Or we will keep that in the background. I think it's quite a good background to have, wasn't it, today? Oh, we've got a comment coming in, so let's have it. Mickey is in the chat with us. Good evening, Mickey. So that did get me thinking, because one of Paul's comments, it coming around about, and his exact comments was, I wasn't expecting the day that we had to the morning that we saw. Got Lee in the chat as well.
Good evening, Lee.
Evening, guys. So that got me thinking, is like we portray chemtrails and the manipulation of weather in a bad light because of what we see via TikTok, what we see by other people. And don't get me wrong, yes, it could be portrayed in a bad light, and I get it. But what's to say that if you play devil's advocate, is that this cloud seeding / cloud manipulation / weather manipulation, whatever you want to call it, is actually beneficial sometimes, and what it actually does, because I do believe this picture was taken on the Tuesday of the hottest day of the year, which weather-wise it was, but it didn't feel it. And that just got me sitting there thinking, maybe maybe this has got a real hidden agenda. Maybe it's deeper than we actually think. Maybe chemtrails are a lot deeper and more manipulative than we actually need. Perhaps there is this needs to happen every single day to produce weather for our seasons.
Oh, you're thinking it's all controlled throughout the year?
Yeah. As you say, that when we spoke about this before, and we look at the chemtrails and we look at things, in them lights of, how wind is manipulated, like the wind and where it goes to and where it blows to, and what happens. But you're right in what you were saying. I was not expecting what we got out of the weather on Tuesday.
Yeah, because it was in the afternoon. I sent the final picture, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, wasn't expecting. Because let's be honest, Russ, we've kind of accurately predicted a day's weather before by how the morning looks sort of chemtrail wise. If there's no chemtrails, we know it's going to be a nice day. And as soon as you see them come out in force, we're like, right, okay, that's going to cover the sky, and which it did, to be fair, for quite a few hours. But again, it was very windy on Tuesday, so maybe it just blew over.
But then I'm assuming they would know that. I'm assuming that would be, how would you see it? That would be in their game plan. It's quite obvious. It's an obvious, not a game plan, but they would know if it's windy, we're not going to waste our time to do this. It wouldn't make any sense, I'm
Well,
assuming.
this is why they usually do it off the coast, isn't it? So the wind blows it off into land. So, yeah.
So I don't think. Not to say I don't think. My head has definitely gone to a different side of things when it comes to. Paul's just adjusting things. When it comes to chemtrails and things like that, but not chemtrails, but maybe chemtrails and weather manipulation are two different things. Maybe. But I do remember with chemtrail. Hold on. A good film to watch based on weather control is Geosuit. If you've seen it. If you haven't, it's all about the government controlling weather. I haven't seen it. I can't.
That's quite a good film.
I don't tend to. I must admit, I'm very much a 80s sort of guy. I watch 80s sort of films, and anything modern. If that's a modern film,
you say that you still haven't watched They Live yet. I bet you haven't.
No, I haven't yet. I haven't yet. Just because it hasn't been on. You're different to me. You've got Sky Q. I've got Sky Plus. So it wasn't on my Sky Plus when you said it, but it was on Sky Q. So I have got I'll wait. I need it to be free because, as I say, it is on Amazon Prime. But is it worth me paying £12.99 for it?
Yeah. I watched it the other night. Funny enough, I watched it the weekend. It was back on there. I thought,
but no, and that's just where my mind was going with it. It's like maybe it's all there because where I was going. Sorry, I was going. It's a really funny colour outside. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
If you're in the UK and in the south at the moment, it's all I can say. It's like an orange outside. It's like my forehead. That's the colour it looks like. My forehead. Really odd colour. It's like we've got sun one side and really dark clouds the other side, and they're proper clashing.
Yeah, a bit of purples up there as well, wouldn't there?
Yeah, very odd. Very odd. But I always remember, this is where I'll go with it. I always remember watching an interview, and you can go and watch the interview with Prince regarding chemtrails. And in, I think it was the Bronx, was brought up in, and in New York, just outside New York, or that sort of way. And he did an interview regarding chemtrails and his take on it. And he would say, you would always know when they've left chemtrails or, cloud seeded or whatever you call it, because there would be riots on the streets. He said you would know exactly when they seeded or dropped the chemicals, because they would argue in the streets, and in the Bronx it would be carnage for a day. Then it would all calm down. And that also got me thinking, because in the UK, in certain areas, there's been clashes with police and things like that. For all the victims of this, that area, it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely, truly heartbreaking. So we can only send our prayers to it. But the following what's happened, I can balance it out by saying, why they've done it, and I don't agree with it. I will put my head on and say I don't agree with what is going on in the UK. But I'm wondering if this has anything to do with it because of what Prince said. I wonder if that, that got me thinking, because when he did this interview, and I don't think he lived very long after that interview. Right. After he did it, I don't think he lived. And there's been a couple of people. I do think there was something to do with Michael Jackson and mention of an interview with chemtrails or something along them lines. And once again, within a few weeks, he had passed. And I know there's a couple of songs out there at the moment with chemtrails in it on modern days. I don't know if it's like Justin Bieber or Katy Perry or people like that. You know, they all signal the chemtrail sign. So it just got me thinking of like, is this more than what the conspiracy theory side, where we've lightly touched on this? Does this go deeper? Does this go deeper than just cloud seeding and manipulation of weather?
Yeah.
Good evening, Heidi. Very welcome
Evening,
to the show.
Heidi.
Hope everything's going well. I did see your post day, so all our love from you today. Mickey said, very interesting, Russ. I say I don't have anything to back this up. I'm sitting. It's how my brain works. It works very oddly. I can't sit here and say there's any reason why I've got no evidence to back this up, but I just have things that I listen to and watch, and they stick in my mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I think this
No,
goes a lot.
I've never thought of it that way, in the way of. I know the interview you talked about with Prince. I have seen that interview. Yeah, I've never thought of the chemtrails doing that.
I know, because we've been on here, haven't we? You know, I don't know if it was you. I don't know if it was with Joe or yourself. Is when we talk about COVID-19 and how it was a man-made, you know, in the vaccination. You know, if they wanted everyone to have this vaccination, and it was, you know, against, you know, obviously, you know, the anti-vaxxers, so to speak, that didn't take it. If they wanted everyone to take it, my theory would be this is how they would make everyone take it. If it has an effect of what Prince was saying.
Yeah.
If they can manipulate people's brains into this, and I also link it again. Sorry, I'm not going off kilter. So just bear with me for my point. So if I can also link this to Rendlesham Forest incident, of what one of the conspiracies that link Rendlesham Forest is that this was a training exercise. They released something in the air, and there was a training exercise for all the invasions over Rendlesham at the time.
Wasn't
So
it like an aerosol LSD type thing, wasn't it?
Yes, because the only reason that I link it to this, and there is evidence of this is evidence of potentially of why, is that 2 hospitals in the Woodbridge area on the night of the so-called incident was evacuated. One was a child's hospital, which could have been an orphanage of some form, and one was an actual hospital, because they got the wind direction wrong. And they didn't want it blowing, causing effect on people who probably couldn't deal with it. You know, people being in hospital, things like that. And that's documented. You can't take that away. So, and this is what I'm saying, is this coinciding with what is sort of going on loosely? Okay, what is going on in the UK?
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, it's what has gone on in this picture that we are seeing over London, you know, outer London. And as you say, this was dispersed come the afternoon. Which way that went, that would be interesting. Did it flow into London? Did this have an effect on what went on? I don't know. And I'm not saying it is. By all means, I'm not trying to justify anything that went on in the area of that. I'm just putting it to what's gone on after the event of people. I know it's happened in the past, very much so. Within, we did have a few nights of it a few years ago, didn't we? The riots and all that within London. I'd like to go back and see what the weather was like around that time. Just to see if we have got some form of link here to what are chemtrails doing. Is it for weather or is it for person manipulation? Is it there for people now? And
it does make you wonder, doesn't it? I mean,
controlling the masses.
The Rendlesham thing, that was the 80s, right?
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's scary in itself, isn't it? So, if they're putting an airborne thing that can mess with your mind, they clearly knew about it because the wind direction was going towards the hospital, so they evacuated them. Yeah. And this is in the 80s. So that wouldn't have been their first attempt of trying it anyway, surely not. Not in a close proximity to two hospitals anyway. So, I mean, it's frightening when you think what I can't even say the government, what the powers that be are capable of doing, and to what extreme are they capable of doing it? Like you say, it's frightening, really. Are they controlling every aspect of life? Are they?
Well, I don't know if I can. I see. The more I look at it, and more what is going on in the world. We've spoke about this over a period of time now. I'm just trying to find if there was a statement the other day, and I bet there isn't. I bet it's gone because it would be, wouldn't it? By David Icke. Did you see the statement?
Don't think so.
I'm just. It was absolutely. It was quite hard hitting. It was actually quite hard hitting. It virtually. I'll see if I can find it. And no, I can't. Was this it? Is it exactly what the plan has been for decades against countries? No, I don't know what it is. And this is what he virtually said. He said along the lines, very short and sweet, is this is the plan. The plan that we're seeing on our TVs is the plan. It's not our governments. Forget Labour, forget Conservative, forget whoever. This is the hand that feeds them. This is the plan of this whole one world control. He was going along the lines of, what is happening in the world today, and not just the UK, the world, with people fighting against each other. We talk about Ukraine and Russia. We talk about, in the United States, you think there's quite an animosity between two sides of polling in the States, which is quite vicious at the moment. It's going a real different tact to where it needs to go. Within the UK, we're having, this is happening all around the world. And this is what he virtually said. This is the plan. He said, I've been telling you this for a long, long time. This is the plan. And then what will happen is then when it happens, I think if even, I know it sounds stupid, but they're even getting like the Spanish, they're protesting against, people going into their country, tourists. Everything is going to the plan of making this. Then they will put everybody under one world, one government, one thing, because they can just close it down. They can martial law everything.
That's what I was going to say. I've seen quite a few about that. Yeah. Get into such a civil unrest that they have to implement. Right, that's it. Martial law, curfews, can't leave your borough unless for such and such a thing. Basically, a quick quick fix to your 15-minute cities. It will be really, wouldn't it?
And that's it. And that's exactly what and you can actually see this for someone who sort of never really. Okay, look, when we talk about David Icke, yeah, how he come to fame, if he did it not the correct way, but if he did it a way of how the people would take it, then he would have still been quite. He wouldn't have had all the press go at him. But his opening statement was, "The royal family are reptilians," and there was all this. Now that, as an English culture, David, you did wrong. Okay, even if because you've upset millions. All of a sudden, you've upset millions, and no one's going to take you serious.
You think? Sorry, go on.
And that's where I go with it. I just think he went too soon with the opening statement that was in his head.
Yeah, especially for the amount of people that have heard of that sort of thing as well. I mean, you've got to kind of take your hat off to him as well at the same point, because he's always stayed the course. He hasn't let anyone deter him from what he believes to be true. And, I mean, he's had a hell of a lot of backlash from it. And he just, I know what you're saying. Yeah, he should have sort of eased people into it, gradually get their confidence and get them to agree. But you can kind of get, if he genuinely felt that way at that time. I mean, you've only got to look at how we are sometimes when we believe something to be true, and someone's questioning that and saying, "No, you're wrong. You're a conspiracy for tinfoil hat wearing all this." You get that, what, right? But no, and instead of easing them into to try and get them on your side, you start throwing everything at them. So maybe he sort of started off that way,
I get it. It's very impactful comment. It was eye lifting, but at that point, I think
what a way to get people's attention, though.
But I don't think it's got enough people's attention. I don't
know, because I think there's been a hell of a lot of people that sort of took that was back in the 80s, I believe. They've expanded from what he originally started from. Would he be where he is now if he eased people into it? Would everyone else have jumped on the bandwagon and started researching if he eased into it? Because he come out with such a, I mean, he was known everywhere straight after, pretty much, wasn't he?
But I think there could have been a better way. Look, even if he thinks the royal family are reptilian creatures, okay? David Icke's quote, not my quote. Facebook and everybody, that's not my quote. He could have gone along the lines of other people at first.
Yeah.
And then we could have got to a point of, look, the bloke's a bit of a nutter, but he could have still got his case across,
Laid the groundwork.
And then, 10 years later on, 20 years later on, if he said it now and come out and said it, I don't think it would have been so damning now than it was back then.
I don't know. Because I think we're only in this place we are now, and people sort of accept conversations about that sort of thing now because of where he started back in the 80s. If this is what I'm saying, if he never done that, would we be here now?
But he may have have to have a voice more. I know he's got a voice, and you have to take certain avenues to find his voice. And obviously YouTube had a big thing with him, didn't they, during the pandemic, because he went straight at the pandemic, said it was a hoax and everything like that.
He knew it was coming, didn't he?
Yeah, And that's what he said. You know, everything is going to plan in his eyes to where it's going and how he sees it. You know, it's not standing up against religion. It's not standing up against the governments. It's standing up against the people who leading this, the elites beyond the elites. Do we know who these are? Probably not. Probably not. But if this is a reptilian-based culture, and obviously he's come out and he's already, you know, once again, I'm quoting names, and it's David Icke's quotes of Barack Obama, wasn't it? Beyonce Knowles, Jay-Z, I think George Clooney's been in there, been involved in it. And they're all influential powers in the States. They're all these, you know, when we've seen the videos, haven't we? We've seen the videos of the reptilian security guard at Barack Obama's one of his things. We've seen Beyonce Knowles' face change in the dancing video at some point. And now we've got at the Olympics, we've got LeBron James. Is that the name? The video you sent me, changing face, and was it LeBron James? I don't know who it was.
No, I can't remember.
I think it was LeBron James. I'm sure it was LeBron James. It was days at the Olympic opening ceremony, wasn't it? Yes, LeBron James video. I've got it. And he changes his face. Okay, we're looking at streaming networking here, and I said that to you, didn't I, in the chat? That you know, you could take that as if it's a buffer or something that, you know, that freezing. We've all, you know, you go back on some of our old videos when we're live, you get that pixelization, don't you, sort of? Yeah. So I get it, but these are big names, and it's becoming more apparent now. Now, I feel if he was to back this up now with his wild comments, I think he would get more of a say. I don't know if he's still on. I don't know if he's been allowed back on YouTube.
He's on X.
Well, he got allowed back on X, didn't he? Because when Elon Musk took it over.
Yeah. But so, like, every now and then you'll get one of his old speeches come on, and if you listen to some of the speeches he says back in the 80s, early 90s, it's like you're reading a newspaper now of what's happened the last few years. I mean, he's pretty damn accurate on what he predicted will happen. He
looks them in the eyes. He can tell a reptilian.
Yeah.
And that's,
maybe, you know, he has got the sight.
But he also claims he's God. Am I right? Or some form of... I'm sure he... you know, don't quote me, but I'm sure he acclaimed himself as a god because of where he's been to see this, where he's been and witnessed this, and who he talks to.
So, I suppose, okay. So he claims he's like a supreme being
I'm sure he gets his information from a higher being. I'm pretty sure of that.
Well, they're pretty accurate.
Let's have a look. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say, even though we don't like it. He's an English conspiracy footballer. He's an English conspiracy theorist and a footballer and sports broadcaster. He's written over 20 books, self-published since the mid-90s, and spoken in more than 25 different countries. In the 90s, Icke visited a psychic. That's it. Icke visited a psychic who told him he was on Earth for a purpose and would receive messages from the spirit world. This led him to claim in 1991 to be the son of the Godhead, and that the world would soon be devastated by tidal waves of earthquakes. He repeated this on a BBC show, Wogan. His appearance led to public ridicule. Books Ike wrote over the next 11 years developed his world view of the New Age conspiracy. Reactions to his endorsement of anti-Semitic fabrications, the protocols of the Elders of Zion in Robots Rebellion, and in the Truth Shall Set You Free, 1995, led his then publisher to decline further books, and he is a self-publisher since. Ike contends that the universe consists of vibrational energies and infinity dimensions sharing the same space. He claims that there is an interdimensional race of reptilian beings, the Anakors and the Anarchies, which have hijacked Earth. Further, a genetically modified human anchored hybrid race of reptilian shapeshifters, the Babylon Brotherhood, Illuminati, or elites manipulate events to keep humans in fear so that the anchors can feed off the resulting negative energies. He claims that many public figures belong to the Babylonian Brotherhood and propel humanity towards global fascist state or new world order. A post-truth ending era, freedom of speech. He sees the only way to defeat such anarchic influence is for people to wake up to the truth and to fill their hearts with love. Critics have accused Ike of being anti-Semitic and Holocaust denier due to endorsement of protocols of the Elders of Zion, as well as his identification of the Jewish Rothschild family as reptilians, with his theories of reptilians being alleged to serve the deliberate code, something which Ike has denied. The allegations of anti-Semitism and misinformation result in him being banned from entering a number of countries. So, but the thing is, once again, it still doesn't mention who he called reptilians. Even now, would he get away with it? I don't know. I think it would be more light-hearted now than it would be back then, because we're not such royalists now than we was back then. But this is what I know. I've gone a long way around the marketplace here to get to my point. But are these chemtrails all linked to this? Is this the setting the seed of it all? Because how much have we noticed over the last year coming out of COVID? Let's say coming out of COVID, how negative the world is.
I say, this is where I am with this, right? I totally get what you're saying, totally get where you're coming from, and yes, sometimes I do feel that. But every now and then I'll hear someone say something, or I'll see a meme or something like that, and it just gets you thinking. And I don't know if this was a video. I'm sure I remember someone saying something like this, and it got me thinking. And I don't know if I sent it to you or not. And someone was saying, people that are living in either the 3D reality or the 5D reality. If you're awakened, you're in a 5D reality. So when you're hearing all this bad, don't go to this country, it's bad. Don't go to that country, it's bad. Don't go over there, it's bad. Don't listen to them people because they're bad. Don't do this because it's bad. When you're watching the news, this is happening, that's happening, everything's terrible, that blah, 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 blah. Now, basically what they're saying is if you're living in the 3D reality, if you're not quite awakened, then yeah, everything you're seeing, everything, because everywhere you're looking in the wrong places. Your life starts getting bad because you're watching the news. That's bad, this bad, that bad. I'm not saying these things aren't happening, but it's saying if you're awakened and you're actually going through life, how much of that bad do you actually encounter personally?
Yeah.
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 So it's like, this is where the control side of it comes from. You're being fed all this. The world's gone to pot. Everything's gone to pot. Don't go to South Korea. Don't go to North Korea. Don't go to this place, that place, Russia, blah. You know, this person's bad. That country's bad. Everywhere you look, bad. That person's bad. You know, that religion's bad. How much have you actually personally experienced? I know some people out there do. Are they awake? It got you think. It's basically saying, if you are awakened, you're not living in the 3D reality. You've excelled to that next level. So you're not. Yes, you can see all these bad things going on in the world, but has it affected you to the point where it's changed the way you think of your own being? You know.
No.
So carry on where you are. Yes, you can talk about it. Yes, you can do this, that, but realize in yourself, take a breath, have a think. Hang on a minute.
I get where you're coming. I do get where you're coming from. You don't let the negative affect you.
Not just that, it's not even about negative and positive as well. It's you've got to, you're in control of where you are in your life, and your, you know, collective manifestation. This is what it's saying about the awakening. You're in control of your reality, so to speak. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to sound too deep and weird about this, but
No, go for it. Go.
When you've got to go through life the right way, and I know for a lot of people it's very hard, especially if you feel like you are awake. I it don't want to sound like sort of, I'm not, what's the word, not big-headed or modest, but to me personally, I see life completely different to what I ever have now in the last few years, especially since COVID. I think that was when I really awoken and saw everything sort of differently, like, you know. And even to the point at work, when you're in your daily work and you've got colleagues, mate, oh, this is crap, that's crap, this is, you know, blah, 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 same thing, same this, same that. And I find myself, I mean, I've been at my place over 20 years now. I say, but think about it. We're doing the same work. We're dealing with the same problems we've always dealt with. Nothing's changed. It's just the way you're
Perceiving it.
Yeah, receiving it. And, you know, I'll try and keep a level head. I'm on more money now than I was when I started, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'll get more holiday now than so I'm doing the same job, dealing with the same crap day in, day out. But I'm close to home. I enjoy my job. I'm working with good people, and I'm getting paid more for it, and I get more holiday than I did before. So where's the negative?
Yeah,
I'm doing the same thing I've always done.
But as a culture, that's always been the way. You know, you're looking at which, you know, you're looking at the high end sort of stuff. You look at the high end sort of stuff, and I've mentioned this a numerous amount of times on this show. We as humans only mention the moaniest things in the world.
Mm.
And as
Don't
I
get
say,
me wrong, I like a good moan, and
no,
you know, and I can pick things up and get infuriated.
but okay. So I use the one I use all the time. You've probably heard me say it a number of times on the show, right? You get a speeding ticket. It's the end of the world. It's not your fault. You know, that camera's caught me. I was only doing this. I said, no, you're speeding. but we take it as a negative. A human takes it as a negative. You get a parking ticket. Why have you got a parking ticket? You parked in a space where you shouldn't have. Well, no, well, I should, I was only there for 30 seconds. Doesn't matter. You were still parked illegally. Why, how many times you see on Facebook on your local community group, I've got a parking ticket. Any ideas how to get out of it? Yeah, don't park there in the future. But, how many times you go to Sainsbury's or Tesco's or any other local supermarket and say, I couldn't get a car parking space. I had to park right at the back of the car park. I had to walk miles. It pissed down in rain all day. But you never you never ring up someone and go, I tell you what, I got a car parking space right out the front. Couldn't believe it. You just wouldn't say it. So we don't look at the positive.
Again, right? So I'm gonna jump in there, Russ. Sorry, mate. I don't want to stop you in your tracks. Since COVID, what come through COVID for me as well, I got into sort of a bit of meditating and therapy and that, when I had a bit of a head wobble a few years back. And when I've done the psychic circle with you, I think that massively changed my life in the way I see things and realise that you can. Because what you just said then just brought me back to one of the sessions we had. And you used to preach to me about what I've just preached to you about. You can manifest what you want. Ask your spirit guides for that, and you say, well, next time you go shopping, have it in your mind, that positive thinking. You are going to get a space. And that's always stuck with me. And I guarantee you, I'm never more than 30 yards away from that front door anytime we go shopping. I guarantee it, because I'm always going there knowing I'm going to get a space. And I do.
Believe in the parking angels. They exist.
The process, mate.
Believe in parking angels. Did it? Where was it? When I was when I went to Woodbridge a couple of weeks ago for Christina's birthday, we went to Aldeburgh, and it was a nice day. It was really busy. And she said, "Oh, we ain't gonna park. We ain't gonna get anywhere down here. We're gonna have to walk miles." I said, "Believe in the parking angels. Ask for the parking angels to come forward and give us a space." And within us said, I went, "Please, parking angels, come and give me a space." And right in front of me, a car pulled right out in front of me, and I pulled straight in. It was just pure magic. And I said, you've got, the car parking angels exist, and I've always said it and I always do it, but it's what I would have never done is rung up someone, gone, I tell you what, I got parked there. But if I couldn't get parked there, I would have been on the phone to someone and going, I went to Aldeburgh, couldn't get parked, got the right, I'm pissed off. And that's exactly how it is. But no, I do get it. I do get this alternate reality sort of higher self. Maybe not an interdimensional sort of way of looking upon it, but an acceptance, an acceptance what is out there. And I try and look at I try and do as much as I can, because I know this life is short.
Yeah.
So I cram as much as I can in it at the time. Very rarely do I have a down day where I'm trying to not do something. Yeah, I do get tired, but I'm trying to fulfill it as much as I can. And I think that goes along that awakening line of things, is that I look at everything. I can't look at, I don't, you probably do the same. I sit there and watch the telly. That ain't right. If you think that's right, you're mad. Look what they're trying to do. And all what's going on in the UK at the moment, I do feel it's going to get worse before it's ever going to get better. I think we are very much, on a borderline of, I won't say civil war, because I think that's extreme. I think it will stop before then. But I do feel that there's going to be more and more of these sort of clashes over the next coming weeks. I don't think this is the end of it. I think there's too much being taken into their own hands, and that's their choices. I'm not a part of anything. I don't back anything. I don't, I vote and that's it. I voted for who I voted for and that's it. I'm not a great believer in protest. It's not my sort of thing. I think it is just a way to spark violence, even if it's peaceful protest. You're always going to aggravate somebody else. You're always going to do it, and that's where I stand with it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I know it has to go on, but I don't like it. I don't. But that's just to say, that's just my opinion. I don't put anyone down. If you want to go and protest, you go and protest. The ones I do get annoyed with when they stop people from doing their thing for something they can't change.
Yeah, exactly.
I.e., the ones that are stopping at the airport for, is it oil, just stop oil, or whatever it is. Grow up. Simple as it gets. You want it all gone by 2030. Grow up. It's not going to happen. All right. Because you can, you think you've got magical powers and you think you can, drive here and fly there and walk here and use your, pedal bike to, because you ain't got a job and you ain't got to drive to work to earn a living. Don't stop me from doing it. It's just not feasible. I get it. If it is actually harming the environment, I get it. But it's not feasible, my friends. It's not. You act realistic. It's never going to affect my lifetime. Simple as. But they're the ones that get on my nerves. All the rest, the ones that you don't see on, mainstream media and things like that. We look at ones that have gone on. We had the one of the weekends, didn't we? We had the one back in when, what is it? The American one. I can't think of his name. The man who got killed by a police officer. Floyd, was it? Floyd?
Yeah.
That movement and things like that. I get it. You want to make a statement, but I'm just sure there's other ways of doing it. There's other ways of doing it than, you're inciting it. Even if it's peaceful, it's incitement, isn't it? It is incitement.
Yeah, but this is obviously I wasn't going to jump in, and I don't want to lose me, Brad, because the only thing that winds me up with the whole thing is certain groups can do it with no backlash from the police at all.
Yeah.
And then another group would come on and the police are all over them. And I think, really, that's what infuriates me.
Do you not see that as the whole thing that we're talking about here?
Because that is encouraging more of it. But so
is that not what they want?
Exactly what you said at the beginning of the show. It's planned. It's get it to such a stage where it's right, martial law, curfews.
Exactly that. That's exactly that. And if we are going along the David Icke route here, and this is the reptilians or whatever he called them, the anarchy or the Babylonians, or how this works of a deeper, it's obviously a deeper state of consciousness or how we see these people. And I not to this is going to sound very David Icke-ish, I suppose, but I'm assuming that there is people around myself and you and people like us that these people will actually pay attention to. Not to say in any big way, like I've got any sort of leeway whatsoever, but if there is powers to be like that, and there's a few of them, we would have crossed their radar. I'm pretty sure of it. No one goes unnoticed, I don't think, with these people, these beings. Let's call them beings. I think because of what we do, via spiritual work, ghost hunting. I've been to Rendlesham a couple of times. We've experienced stuff. You've experienced stuff with UFOs and UAPs. How many times have we seen You know, when you went to Coal House, it was above you. No one saw it at the time, but it was above you. You know, Simon's had experiences, Joe's had experiences, everything. Heidi, don't know if she's in the, you know, everybody here in the, you know, Mickey's probably had some experiences with, you know, ufology. Is it as simple as we've just caught a UAP? Or is it that they've let you know that they're watching? Is that a sign? You know, that's how my brain works. You know, my brain works, you know, it is left field sometimes. My brain goes proper around the houses and think, you know, I'm sitting there quite quietly at night time. I sit in the hot tub, look up in the sky, and you see that flash of light, or you see that thing move, and you think, well, I've just seen something. You know, I saw something the other day, and it was so crystal clear, but I couldn't get my phone quick enough. And I don't know if anyone else has witnessed this, and I don't know if it was a satellite, okay, because I was watching it and it come across the sky, and it was a normal satellite motion, so it just comes really slowly, and you can watch it for quite a bit, can't you? So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, that's a satellite. A bit different though, but, you know, it looks a bit bigger to me or a bit clearer. So I thought I'll just get my phone, and as I'm watching it so I don't lose it, it lights up and retracts and carries on and disappears. It gets really bright, like, and it was just like I looked at it and I thought, that's watching, that's watching, that's acknowledged. Whoever saw that, you know, it might not just be me sitting in that moment. Someone else, you know, as you say, that collective manifestation thought. There was a few people watching it, and it was like that was an acknowledgement. If it was for good or bad, I don't know, and it doesn't worry me. It didn't worry me, so I'm assuming it could have been for the good. I don't know, but it was like an acknowledgement. It was there. It was there, but I don't know if satellites should do that. I don't know if it's where it's perfectly in line with me, and I see the brightest bit, then it goes. But it
I know what you're saying. You
know, it
beam of light, so to say.
It was like that. That's exactly how it went. It went really bright and then carried on going, and it disappeared. It disappeared quickly, but not a zoom like that. It disappeared out of my eyesight quickly, and I thought I should still be seeing it because I can still see stars beyond it. And that's what got me thinking. It's like, you know what? That was an acknowledgement, but I wished I had it on camera, and I had the camera in my hand, because you would have quite clearly seen the flash of it. And that, you know, and I think that is, you know,
what was like the one I caught on holiday, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In between the two stars, just flashed like that, and then done it about two, 3 times, and then didn't see it again.
That's it. It is. But then that's, in my eyes, that's an acknowledgement of what acknowledgement it is. Good acknowledgement, bad acknowledgement. I don't know. I don't know. But I do feel that we are very much the David Icke thing. I do think will come to some form of head. I think he will become more of a vocal influence in the next coming years if he stays correct. And I think he has learned. I do think he has learned. I think he puts it in ways now that the people understand, rather than the shocking understanding. And I do generally believe that we are more and more controlled now by a different being to what we see. And do I think that, you know, I think we can categorically say that we see these beings that, okay, you know, I think we all know my opinion. I think we see these beings quite clearly. I think we see, like, the President Biden has had the box ticked. I think we see that as some form of whatever it is. Have I ever seen it within the UK? I don't know. I don't know if I can safely say that.
Through a person, you mean?
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
get the celebrities. Like you get obviously you get all the big wigs named. Like the Beyoncés, you get Jay-Z's, and you get all these names.
yeah,
And there's been that. There's a bit of photo evidence that backs it a little bit. Do we see? Can I go with maybe the likes of loosely Boris Johnson? When he was bumbling, and it was. You think you just, you especially through the COVID era of when he.
I wouldn't even put him in the same category. I know.
No. But would you have put President Biden in the same category at the beginning? No. But I'm only
There's more than one aspect with him, wasn't there? He was the way he looked and things like that.
And that's what I'm saying is, when we was during COVID era and the UK were getting these daily updates with next slide, please. We saw that Biden bumblingness that I don't quite understand what you're telling me to do. And you think, we had a lot of,
Go to work.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And we had quite a few celebrities that were taking the mickey out of the rules that were, you can go out, but you can't go out. You can go to the pub, but you can't go to the pub, but you can. And you think at this point, there's something not quite right. The more, if I look at it now, I think that's not right. That's not, they knew what the laws were. They knew how it worked, but it was made to, and I just look at it now. It's only just come into my head, but that's the only one I could really put into any form of loosely, and I'm shoehorning him in.
Oh, I don't know. So the one that stands out for me really would be Blair, especially now. Have you seen him now? I mean, he looks like a demon.
Yeah, but would be anything? We're basing on it now, but was there anything in the public eye when you say I was quite young, really, when Blair was about? Obviously, I knew of that, but there was nothing really. Then when he goes on telly, that I would say, "You're one." Nothing.
Yeah,
flipped.
see that puts me into the David Icke frame of mind,
Yeah.
Because I agree with you there. When he was elected and he was Prime Minister, I think he was still human then. But when you look at him now, that's when you get to that thing where you think, is it a clone? It's similar to the Biden scenario, to be fair. They look completely different back then, but you look at them now.
But then, is this what we're talking about? The awakening? Is it actually the ability to see through what the others are seeing? Because how many people out there were still backing Joe Biden when he was going through his absolute mishaps? And you're thinking, what are you seeing that I ain't?
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
We talk about David Icke saying he could see through these people. He looked at, the royal family and he could tell you who was a reptile. He could tell you. What about if we, this awakening that we call it is now happening to us, where we are looking at and
demon face syndrome.
Sorry?
Demon face syndrome.
Yeah, but how many times do you go to you talk to somebody, right? And let me take my granddad, for example. Okay? My granddad. he would watch everything on telly, absolutely everything, and not really say a dicky bird. Nothing. He would watch it. Yeah, do you like that, Grandad? Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, I enjoyed that. But the only person that he would ever say was Bruce Forsyth. I hate him. Can't watch anything with him in it. Why? Don't like him. And you think, well, what's he done that he's actually you don't like? Just don't like him. Simple as. So maybe that we do have an ability to see through, not to say my granddad was, my granddad would be totally, against, he didn't believe in spirit world, let alone the conspiracies that we would talk about. It would totally say, boy. But how many people do you say, they just randomly say, I can't stand that bloke. Well, why can't you stand him? Don't know, just don't like him. Well, what gives you the right to say that you don't like him? What has he done that you don't like? Don't know, just don't like him on TV. What if they're seeing like what we see, but in a different wrap?
Yeah, 100%.
As you say, you can see, we see the likes of, Tony Blair change. We see the likes of Joe Biden change. What's to say they're not seeing something different to what we have, but just can't comprehend what they're seeing.
Mm.
Does that
they
make
just
sense?
know it's not good.
Yeah. He could never answer why he didn't like him. Never would he answer it. And you just think, well, it's Bruce Forsyth. He's like for many, a national treasure. Do you know, he was on telly every night throughout, every Saturday. He was your Saturday night host.
Yeah.
But maybe he was one of the elites. Maybe.
But this is it, isn't it? You look, you've only got to look at old Savile.
Exactly.
Look at Johnny Lydon, Sex Pistols. He called him out in the 80s for what he was. He knew.
Yeah.
He called out, and everyone just went completely the wrong way with him. Oh, what is he on about? Look at him. And when it all come about, he just come on telly and he went, well, I told you.
But that's what I'm saying, maybe there is people out there that see it way before. And maybe maybe these people are that we're talking about. We've got no evidence to back it up, but the likes of people, like Jimmy Savile and things like that, and all these people are related to these elites, reptilian type creatures, for want of a better phrase, that it's manipulate. It's because how many times you sit there and say, why would they do that? How could they physically do that? If they're human, they wouldn't do it. Maybe, they are. I forgot about that. Mickey J. Jill Dando knew something big. And
100%, mate. 100%.
She was killed off for it. And maybe these people that, are there, and they're we're talking about, not like the likes of me and you, Paul, that are broadcasting to sort of probably like a few hundred people every week that have got no say in it. But these people like Jill Dando was, massive following and would have got a big hit if she let everything out the bag. Now, maybe these people just don't know what dimension they're looking in or working in. Maybe David Icke is, not saying maybe, I think he's right in what he's saying. There is this couple of worlds that are about, and some people are seeing it and just not realizing it.
Yeah.
Just totally not realizing it. Potentially. It's food for thought, though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Massive food for thought. And we're linking it somehow. We've linked this to chemtrails. How?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah.
How? I'd have to watch this whole show again because I still link this to chemtrails. I still do link this to chemtrails. My whole being about this is that there's a blanket of these things that they're putting in the sky that are controlling us. Maybe it's a dumbing downer, to stop for people from seeing the true people.
Yeah.
Keeping them,
But they try everything else, didn't they? Fluoride,
yeah,
chlorine.
I just think you have to be awake to it. And not to say that you've got to sit there and say, I'm awake to it, that's happening, and believe every conspiracy theory. No, I don't believe that at all. I really don't believe you have to believe everything that's out there.
No.
But you'll come across that little golden nugget and you think, I can see that.
That's got something to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me today. That is exactly what happened to me today with your picture. And when I sat at the news and watched, and it was only because I put out a post this morning that I thought I can't really change it, but it's gone down that road, because we did want to have a sort of a flat Earth / Narubu chat tonight, but this was sort of in my head because I couldn't let it go. I just couldn't let it go because I was watching the news with my family, and I just sat there and I looked up at the sky and I thought, what I'm hearing on telly to what my brain's saying, it's just lies. They want that to happen.
Yeah.
And that's when I sort of sat there and I thought, I wonder if it is anything to do with Prince. Why did Prince come into my head? Why? There was no need for it to come into my head. And it was like, am I linking this? Why am I linking it? Then I had to remember why I'm linking it and things like that. And just as we started the show, and I thought, the chemtrail that Paul put out, and why wasn't it right? Why didn't it do what it wanted it to do? What's different?
Yeah.
And we have gone down a bit of a rabbit hole / wormholes, but the bigger picture here is that I do believe in David Icke at the moment. I think he has got something that's right and on point, and that's worrying.
Well, is it worrying? I mean, when you hear about how the system works and how you can take down that system, it's quite easy, but incredibly hard at the same time. All you need is everyone to stand together, and the elites will fall. The pyramid ain't from the top down; it's from the bottom up. If that bottom bit, if everyone at the bottom crumbles, that top's going to fall down.
But it takes a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot, and I don't think we're anywhere near what it is. But
it takes everyone to awaken, mate.
Yeah, it does. It does. Not seen David Icke speak for a while.
He's been pushed off of a lot of platforms, though, isn't he?
Follow him on Twitter, X. He's very vocal on there. I really wished that I could read that statement out, and it's really annoying me. It's really annoyed me. So I should have took a screenshot of it. Really wished I took a screenshot of it. I'm just going to go through it. Just double check to see if it is. He does tweet tweet. I suppose you can still call it tweet, can't you?
Yeah, I do.
No, I don't think it's there. I really don't think it's there. But I bet I'll find it once we go off air.
It'll come straight up,
It will definitely. It was a massive. It was definitely it was a massive. But I don't know where he would have put it. I suppose he would have done it on his own. To his own page. But yeah, Ah, no. No, 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 no. But I guess it could be. I was reading a post the other day about the timeline as well of Donald Trump that you sent me, because he didn't die. It's altered the timeline. But I'm just looking on X at the moment, and I can't. I'd like to read more, but David Icke has gone down my theory. I've only just seen this of the ear. The ear. He's not a believer in the shot.
Nah.
Nah. He's posted a lot of pictures saying he's a very good healer. But then he might be. He might be, for all I know. I wish I could find that statement. It's really annoying me, because it was so good. So good. I'm getting wound up if I don't. So stop leaving. But no, we are coming towards the end of the show. I do hope that we have sort of had quite a nice show. Not as deep as we normally go. We don't slander
Quite
anybody.
light-hearted, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Chemtrails and things like that, which, you know, it's not even a fact of we're necessarily hiding it. You know, you've only got to look at the sky most early mornings, and then you see them for yourself. As I say, this is what Paul caught the other morning. Normal. Heidi says it was wonderful to listen to you guys again. Thanks for being there. Big hugs, Heidi. Hope you're doing okay, Heidi, and I hope everything is going according to plan. Just out of curiosity, Heidi, do you see anything like that in your skies over in Denmark? Or is it something that you sort of don't pay attention to just at the moment? Be good to see if, you know, if you see that sort of any sort of cloud seeding. Let's call it cloud seeding, because I don't really like chemtrail, because it's a big genre, that, isn't it? Even though it goes down really what we're speaking about, let's keep it sort of cloud seeding. It sounds better, doesn't it, than chemtrail?
I pulled someone up on TikTok for saying that. But cloud seeding's putting something into an existing cloud. Chemtrails are creating the clouds.
Right.
Two different things.
Oh look, yes, we saw it today, my sister and I. So, just out of curiosity, while we've got a little bit of, so what do you believe it is, Heidi? Do you think it is manipulating the weather? I did see a video the other day that actually they use these chemtrails, or this whatever is, to cover up the sky to allow things in. So
you've always said that anyway, haven't you?
Yeah, I did see a video of that. But it also goes along the line of that video that you showed the other day with Narubu. You could quite easily see an outline of something. Yes, that was video, for, you know, edited. You could definitely see something that wasn't right in that sky as a big planet that gone through it, and he was quite adamant what it was. And you know, that would go along with the same line as what my nan saw as well. I did read a few of the comments about if something that big was, you know, next to us, we would know about it with gravitational pull and all that. And I thought, you're now going over my head. I can't.
Well, not if we're on a flat Earth, we wouldn't.
Yeah, no, no. But I get what, you know, everything was going. I just looked at it and just thought, you can see something. You can clearly see the shadow of a massive massive planet. So it was just, but maybe the cloud seeding is hiding that.
But this is what I'm saying. What if everything is manipulated? We have no clue what anything's about. In all honesty, if it is manipulated the way that it's believed to be manipulated, then it is purely the Truman Show, isn't it?
Would it surprise you?
Yeah and no. I think I'd be quite a bit disheartened in the way that I thought I knew better, and what everything in me is telling me is that we ain't. But
the more I watch, the more I think I'm in it.
I think I'll be more disappointed than anything.
Yeah, and as I say, disappointment and would it be a surprise?
Yeah.
Like would I feel disappointed? You know what? No, because I'm gonna play you at your own game. It's the Awakened, so it wouldn't bother me at all. I would just accept it for what it is and say hello to all the people that are watching.
Yeah.
But no, it wouldn't surprise me at all. It really wouldn't, because it is sometimes you think, you're going to work and you think, I'm going to go down that way. I'm going to go down that way. I'm going to go that way to work. I know I'm going to go that way to work today. And I get there and I end up going a totally different way because something has stopped me from going that way. And I turn that corner and go, why have they not sent me that way? And I can't, sometimes I've even turned around and gone, you know what, sod ya, I'm going that way. And I'll sit in traffic just to tee you off. If you are in the Truman Show, I'm going to get my own back and make sure that I'm going to go the way that you don't want me to go. And I don't care if I'm late for work. I don't care if it screws up the rest of your plans for me for that day. I am going that way to work. And I've done it a couple of times.
Yeah, I know you've said that before.
Yeah, especially if I go down the A127, and when you get to the Ardley Green traffic lights, it can be quite busy some mornings. And sometimes I get there and go, no, I'm going to go straight down. I'm going to go straight down because they don't want me going down there. There's a lot of traffic down there today. Why is it backing up? So I'm going to go down there. I'm going to go down there. And then I pull off at the Winkletail Lane. And I've gone, no, sod that. I'm going back on. So I turn around in a little cul-de-sac, come back on and go back down the A127. And I just sit to myself, sod ya, because you don't want me going down here. Now you've got to scramble to get something going down here. So have that, Truman Show. And I don't know why. I just do it. Just do it.
Brilliant.
But that's how my brain works. Maybe my brain's terrible. But no, thank you for everybody that has watched tonight and joined in. We are now going on a 2-week break. I'm away next week and Paul is away the following week. So I don't know what quite date is. We're back. So it'll be the 7th next week, 14th probably, or maybe. So that'd be the week after that, around about the 21st.
Something like that.
Around about the 21st, we will be back on air. That is over on Pulse Talk, Facebook and YouTube. So everybody, you can, can have a rest from me and Paul talking for the next couple of weeks. But if you're really that fed up with us, please head over to our YouTube channel, have a look at backdated shows, and have a look at catch up there and see what you come into. So please, guys, thank you for everyone that's joined us. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you in about 3 weeks' time. See you later, everybody. Thank you for everybody that's joined us over on Facebook and YouTube. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Take care, guys. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Bye-bye.